Hello and welcome to the Oxygenaddict Triathlon Podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, precisionhydration.com.
Precision Hydration offer electrolyte drinks in different strengths to match how you sweat. Personalise your hydration strategy today at precisionhydration.com and get a free box or tube of pH worth up to $9.99 using the code Oxygenaddict.
We're also brought to you by foodsell.co.uk.
The next generation of top tube nutritional carriers for your bike, designed to allow endurance triathletes and cyclists to carry enough food and gels while allowing easy access. Use the code FREEPOST for free delivery worldwide. Check it out at foodsell.co.uk.
And lastly, we're brought to you by teamoxygenaddict.com triathlon coaching.
Helping hundreds of age group triathletes see huge improvements in their 70.3 and Ironman performances. The time training system makes sure that you get the important training done each week in a way that complements the rest of your life.
And all right, everybody, welcome to the show. It's mid-June, which means obviously it's cold and hammering down outside here in Great Britain right now, Hells.
Yep.
It is a pretty special period of weather, isn't it, at the moment? But it's all good. We've got some hot racing action to go through. Loads of stuff happened over the last couple of weeks. Hells has been away, so we've got loads of stuff to chat through. First up, Hells, how are you? Did you have a great holiday?
I had a very good holiday, Rob, thank you, in Sardinia, cycling around the northern quarter of the island. Stunning part of the world, really good cycling, amazing pizza, clearly, amazing gelato. And we just had a really, really good time. And we did, sort of 60 to 85 mile days.
Yeah, I had a nice vicarious holiday watching you and Rich and the rest of the gang wind your way around the northern tip of Sardinia as it was bouncing down with rain here every day last week. I was like, oh, that looks nice.
We were very lucky. We were very, very lucky with the weather. And it was very warm. I don't think there was one day where it was really, really hot and you had to stop quite a lot and just make sure that we were getting on enough water. Precision hydration kept us in the game, Rob.
Nice.
Regular food stops. But it is amazing when you go.
Just nice riding weather, was it?
Really nice riding weather. And then you go somewhere like that, and we obviously rode a bit in Italy 2 years ago. But all the drivers, seriously, we didn't have one problem with the driver.
Is it pretty, I want to say rural, but you know what I mean? Are you pretty much, when you're between villages, is it like riding in Greece's kind of thing? You're just out in the countryside? Yeah,
some of the times we were probably on the main roads between certain towns. And then, we came slightly off-road once when, apparently it was passable. It was a gravel track, and we had to take.
We had to block our bikes. Gravel biking, huh?
Oh Jesus, it was not good. That was like, could quite happily lose my sense of humour on this hill. You couldn't. I mean, there was no way you could ride up it on a road bike with a whatever
loaded with kit. Yeah.
So that was a push. But so there were some roads which were really, really quiet, and then there were others which were really busy. But they would respect the fact that you're on a bike. And I'd say typical Italian driving, they come up quite close to you, but then they overtake fairly. If you get
give
that.
You loads of space.
Yeah,
that's good.
And no one shouted obscenities or anything like that. So it was good. Really good.
Riding up the steep hills.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That sounds like you had a nice adventure.
It was great. It was really cool. It was good to be back on my bike. I think my panic training's just about there, Rob. I went for my first open water swim in the UK of the year yesterday in Buttermere.
Nice. So you've got the relays coming up, have you, this weekend, and then there's a half Ironman somewhere, haven't you, the week after?
No, same weekend.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so I'm doing the relays on Saturday.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's all. I was trying to do my maths in my head, and I thought I was going to sound stupid because I was like, hang on, the relays are at the same venue. It can't.
Yeah.
So you're doing the relays on the Saturday, and then you're doing
warm up.
Half Ironman on the Saturday. Good girl.
Yeah, half.
Well,
so I've now done my open water swim.
Yeah,
good.
love it.
haven't yet been out on my TT bike, so I'm hoping that might be tomorrow,
Nice.
just for a little spin. And if not, and if it's dreadful, you know what? I'm just going to do it on my road bike. I'm comfortable with my road bike. I don't care.
Looks like it'd be good though. Weather's picking up for the weekend. It should be
Exactly. Timed it to perfection.
Yeah, brilliant. What is the first half Ironman of the year if not going super fast for the first hour and being super uncomfortable for the last 30 minutes?
Exactly. I mean, let's not worry about it. It's going to be car crash. Well, it's just going to be a very interesting weekend, isn't it?
I hope you have lots of fun.
I hope so too.
All right, well, listen, we've got loads and loads of results to catch up on after your holiday, so let's jump right into results. Sponsored by our friends over at Food Cell. Now, remember, Food Cell is an awesome top tube nutritional carrier box. You can fix it to your top tube using bolts if your TT bike got them, or it comes with natty little Velcro straps that will attach it to your road bike as well. It's much bigger than the standard little bento box thing on the market in terms of how much you can fit inside, but it doesn't look bigger. That's the really clever thing about it. You can fit 4 of those big fat gels inside it, or flapjacks, or even a spares kit, but it even adds to the aerodynamics of some of the top end TT bikes out there because it's really well designed in the wind tunnel. It's even got those nice little sort of zip wheel bibbly bumps down the side of it, which I like, Kels. I'm a big fan of that.
It is a very cool design.
And the most important thing is you can open and close it with one finger using a clever little slider mechanism on the top. So no messing about with zips that get stuck. You can actually get your stuff into and out of it as you're riding. You can actually get into and out of it when you've still got one arm on the tri-bars when you've practiced, as I found out this week as well. So dead useful for getting into and out of. Really impressed with this product. If you're looking for a solution for long distance racing, I think this is it. Get yourself over to Food Cell. Check them out there, and remember you can get free delivery worldwide with the code FREEPOST. Even if you're in America or anywhere else, it'll be shipped to you by courier. Foodcell.co.uk. Get over and check them out. All right, so first results. We'll start, I think, Hells, with results from this weekend just gone, and then we'll go back to other stuff that happened the weekend before. Over in the UK here, we've had the Lakesman and the Half Lakesman events up in the Lake District, which was up your end of the woods, wasn't it? You were up there this weekend.
Yeah, didn't take part, but we did go into Keswick. We saw transition. We saw lots of people racking their bikes and walking around. Yeah, I think we're tempted.
Totally takes over the town. Really well designed little transition area there. I was dead impressed with it when I did the half last year. And I tell you what, somebody has been and raised the game there this year. The win on the men's side was a young man called Sam Laidlow, who, get this, Hells, 20 years old. He's won the race in 8 hours 21.
I was looking into this, and I mean, he outswam everyone by a clear 16 minutes. 16 minutes up out of the way. It was so fast. When I first saw it, I thought that's got to be a mistake. Has the swim been shortened? But everybody else's swim splits look like it's not a fast swim course, the Lakesman. It's always got slower times than you'd expect, except for him, who swum a 48. Yeah, I found a 58, a couple of 58s, by the way, a bit further down. So 10 minutes clear out the water. But
the rest of the other two guys on the podium swam over an hour, didn't they? So what an amazing performance by him. He's biked 4:45, and then we tried to do the maths before this, didn't we? We think he's run in the low 240s.
Yeah.
So just an amazing performance from him. So we had a nosy around. We can see he's won one iron distance race before out in France. I think both his parents relocated to France to start a triathlon coaching company out there. So he's obviously grown up with the sort of the love of that in his family. And he's done a lot of racing on the French scene. And then he won
he's on the Poissy circuit. You know, the Grand Prix are really big in France, aren't they? And so Poissy's one of the well-known teams out there.
But to transfer that over from, I mean, there are lots of very high standard Olympic distance racers who try to have a move to Ironman, but to go 8:21, even on a course like the Lakesman, that is an amazing result for him. So we're going to hunt him down and see if we can get him on the show. And then a win for Joe Shellcross from the women's 40 to 45 age group in the women's race in 10:42. Over in the half distance race, it was won by Beth Wilmot in 4:56. And Tom Rigby won the men's race in 4:10. I used to coach Tom years ago, Hells.
Probably
nice. 5 years ago. So yeah, he was always a very good, like, getting up on the podium athlete, but great to see him move up to actually, he's been having some tremendous results over the last couple of years, but to go 4:10 to win the Lakesman half, again, super fast time on that course. So nice work, Tom.
Rob, I've just done a little bit more research, I think, about Sam, and I've just seen he said he's put up on Instagram, it's all in French, but he's basically said, this is for you, Dad. I guess it was Father's Day, wasn't it? And he said as well that he was really chuffed with his run, because he said that he's had quite a number of years like doubting himself on the run, and he did, Rob. He's sort of confirmed a bit further down. He said he did a 2:42, but then he says it's 41k, not 42, so it would have been 1k short. But that is still.
But I tell you what, that is still
running.
That's a legit 2:46, then, isn't it? I mean, that is a run to rival any pro man split at the moment. That's incredible.
Yeah. So
wow.
I think we need to be watching out for Sam. He's going to be doing.
I was just going to say,
Barcelona, apparently.
Is he really? Well, let's put our feelers out to the Oxygenaddict Triathlon community right now and say, if anyone knows Sam and can put us in contact, drop us a note on Twitter or email or Facebook or wherever. If you can hook us up with an email address and contact, we shall be hunting him down for a chat very soon. All right, then. Where should we go next? Shall we do other stuff from this weekend? It was the ITU mixed relays in Nottingham, wasn't it?
Yeah, I managed to catch this yesterday when I got home on catch up, and GB stormed to victory in Nottingham. It had to be a duathlon because the River Trent was so high and running so fast that it was too dangerous to have the swim. And the GB team was Alex Yee, Ben Dykstra, Sophie Caldwell and Georgia Taylor-Brown. Georgia Taylor-Brown, fresh from her win at Leeds the weekend before, had an absolute blinder of a first leg. She was
totally dominant, wasn't she? She just ran and rode away from everybody.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
It was really good. So Great Britain beat Switzerland by 42 seconds, and then France finished third. And Alex Yee, who was on the last leg to bring it all home, he just looked like he was having such a great time running.
What an amazing runner. I know.
Yeah. And then he said, oh, by the way, the swim's been cancelled. You'd be like, yes.
Yeah. And imagine lining up to race that team and then hearing that the swim's been cancelled, knowing that you've got to race Alex Yee on the anchor leg. He looks like he's running in a track race. It's fantastic talent. It makes you really wonder, doesn't it? Especially in light of results at Leeds the week before. It makes you wonder what's going to happen with selection for the Olympic team.
Yeah, it is.
Do you know the selection policy in terms of, because obviously mixed relay is going to be at the Olympics? Do they have to pick? Do the 4 athletes have to come from?
No,
the 3 and the 3 that are racing.
No, but I was going to say that the performance director has said that he has plenty to think about at the moment, because there is so much talent out there.
Yeah.
And so I think that because they've got more events now. So Nottingham, they would have got points for Olympic qualification.
Yeah.
So that's why it was important. And then Hamburg as well, and Edmonton will give points. And then they've got the test event as well, which is in Tokyo, sort of a year out. So all those events are going to be really important for the mixed relay for qualification. So
can they have 4 completely different athletes racing the mixed relay than the ones who race the Olympic?
At this, I don't know.
No, I wasn't sure about that either. Because I'd imagine that they've got a limited number of athletes they can take, and they've got to pick from the same athletes who are doing the Olympic distance race. So all of a sudden there's a difficult sort of line there, isn't there, to pick athletes who can do well at both of them. Yeah. Do you choose to blood in the new athletes at the Olympics, knowing that they'll do really well in the mixed relay, or do you go with your tried and tested Brownlees, knowing that perhaps their performance over the shorter distance might not be as sharp as? It's a real interesting one, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. It's
good problem to have.
Because some countries will just focus on on the mixed relay.
Yeah.
If they think that they've got more chance, let's take for example, let's say, Switzerland have been really good so far at the relays, and obviously you've got like Nicholas Berg stand out in the women's team, but perhaps they would put, yes, she's different, she's not selected yet, but maybe they would put a lot of their eggs in the mixed relay basket.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that probably brings us on to then, let's talk a little bit about ITU Leeds the week before, hey?
Yes.
Because, as you said, Georgia Taylor-Brown, what an assured performance from her.
Oh, it was great. It was so good to see her put it all together in Leeds as well. And if you watch stuff around it, you listen to it, and so many of her competitors or her teammates are saying, like, we've known for years this girl is so talented. And when we had her on the podcast, you should go back and listen to it. It really, really bubbly personality, but she would have been out injured for a couple of years, and that just must have been so full of doubt. And even when I interviewed her a few months ago, you could still hear little bits a bit like, I don't really know how I ended up on the overall podium last year. Was that really me?
Yeah.
And so you just kind of, I reckon that result in Leeds will really have given her the confidence then to.
Yeah, it's obvious that she was kind of being held back by the injury niggles, wasn't it? And that the quality of the athlete that she is, no one's really had a chance to see that racing against the top people. And now she's had a period of time training injury free. She's absolutely flying. And I tell you what else, it makes me feel much better about getting beaten by her over 5K as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I was thinking back to when I was watching the relay, I was thinking back to that Sail Sizzler.
Yeah.
She's a great runner. Rob, 3 men and 3 women on each of the teams for the Olympics.
And then they've got to pick the 2.
Yes, then you could pick from that.
Yeah, got you.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you can get up to 6 places.
Yeah, got you.
Some governing bodies won't get it, and sometimes they you qualify a place, not necessarily a person.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So
got you. Okay.
And then it's down to selection committees as to actually which people go.
As to who actually goes, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting headache, isn't it? You've got
many headaches.
The class and that sort of the big game player aspect of the Brownlees, knowing that they're always going to really thrive under that high pressure situation in the Olympic race. But then you've got much faster, younger athletes over the run, certainly. But then you wouldn't bet against them in a mixed relay either, would you?
Not at all. And it will come down to how many medals can you get.
Yeah.
That's what it will go on.
Yeah. Wow.
What medals are they assured of?
All right, cool. Right, so other races that we've had going on this weekend then. We've had wins for Frankie Sanjana and Freddie Van Leerd again, following his win at Ironman Lanzarote, out at 70.3. I'm going to try and pronounce this, Els.
Les Sables d'Olonne in France. Well done. Très bien. Très bien. Yeah, so fab. We had Frankie on a couple of weeks ago, and it's her first professional win over the 70.3 distance, and I know she was a bit disappointed with her result at the Challenge Championship a week or 2 back, and so to kind of bounce back, she's absolutely over the moon. She said she's just so chuffed that it all came together. So good on you, Frankie.
She was at Samarin, wasn't she? And I think I read that she had cramps so bad getting out of the water that she couldn't get on the bike.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, I had that happen once at a race in, do you remember the Wensleydale full cheese race from back in the day?
No, but it sounds amazing. It sounds like the trout run.
It's a kind of race you'd have loved. The prize was obviously a massive piece of Wensleydale cheese for the winner. It was like this super tough middle distance race where you got out of the water and you had to ride up like a 1 in 3, 1 in 4 hill straight out of transition. And both my quads locked solid standing up out of the water, and I was standing there just like screaming, thinking no one can come and help me. I was in knee deep water. I couldn't move either leg. And I thought, if I fall over, I'm actually going to drown in knee-deep water. So I had this stream of athletes come by me going, "Are you all right, mate?" "No, please help me out of the water." And so some guy eventually stopped and sort of, like a football player being helped off the pitch, put his arm under my thing and helped me out of the water. I was like an action man with 2 stiff legs.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
I know when people hear that, you go, "Oh, I suffered really badly with cramp." It's very hard to put into words
Quite how bad
that is. Like somebody's activated every single one of your quad muscles and made them lock up completely.
Oh, no, that is not good. You're just talking about getting out of water. Yesterday, trying to get out of Buttermere, it goes really rocky at the shore, and it was quite slippery as well. And I think because it was so cold, I could not balance. I fell over 4 times.
You've got to come out on your tummy, haven't you? You've got to come out like one of those fish emerging from I'm coming out of the Darwinian theory of evolution on my tummy, and then roll onto your back and bum wiggle out.
That was it. It was really embarrassing, but I was only with one other person, so it didn't matter. Rob, other results that we need to mention. We did just say there about Georgia Taylor-Brown winning the women's race at Leeds. Jake Birtwistle from Australia won the men's race. So that was ITU Leeds. Fantastic. You can go and watch the highlights on the BBC if you're in the UK. Ironman Boulder, Matt Hansen was flying.
He was. He absolutely stormed it, didn't he? There's a really good YouTube video, actually. Tim O'Donnell had somebody filming him. So there's a really cool 15-minute video that people have put together of him. He led out and was leading for ages. And then Matt Hansen came by him like he was standing still on the run. And he absolutely dominated. I think he ran in the low 240s again. So that's him off to Kona and, going super, super well, which is great to see after his disappointment out in Texas. Yeah. But Tim O'Donnell's video is great because it's got Rinny's there with their daughter. Oh. And she's only, I think, maybe a year old. So she's kind of standing at the roadside watching her dad go zooming by. And Tim O'Donnell says, I was going to drop out at mile 18. I felt so terrible. And then I just decided, you're in third. Come on, this is going to get yourself to the finish line, even if you've got a hobble there. So it's a real interesting interview with the mental aspect of even a pro like him going, "I'm having a terrible day. Do I stop? Do I carry on? Do I stop? Do I carry on?"
I'm going to check it out. Lauren Brandon won the women's race at Boulder, and then it was 70.3 UK, and some nice flipping great results there too.
Well, young George Goodwin, it's got to be said, he had an absolute stormer. I think all my money was on Will Clark to take another win after I think he'd raced and won Outlaw Half, hadn't he? And then he finished second in Brazil, and then he was racing this the weekend after. So I thought he's in amazing form. But George Goodwin ran, I think, 1:14 off the bike, just had an absolute stormer. So brilliant result for him. Will Clark in second and Elliot Smales in third. And then over on the women's side, dominating performance by Lucy Charles Barkley again.
Yeah, 4:22 to take the win there. Her first Ironman branded win, I think, as a pro on UK soil, so that's cool. Emma Pallant was second in 4:26, and then Katrina Rye was third in 4:29. We're going to get Katrina on at some point over the next few weeks as well.
Awesome stuff. Okay, right then, is that all of them? There's been loads of results this week and I've done them all. Awesome stuff. Right, let's go forward then. We've got a coach's couch question this week about being injured.
Oh, it's okay. I feel Rob's pain. Another Rob. Rab even.
Rab, yeah.
Rab. Sorry, Rab. I do feel Rab's pain because he says 4 weeks until Ironman UK and I've pulled something in my calf after having such a great run last week at my 70.3. This is annoying. My training plan has my longest run this coming Thursday. Should I still attempt it? I'm going to say, Rab, don't panic.
Yes, that's what we're going to say. Don't panic, bless him. So Rab's one of the guys we coach in Team Oxygenaddict, and he's got a history of calf problems that he's managed superbly well. He's got himself into great shape and had a really good race at Cotswold 113. Confidence came back in droves and had a really good run there. And then, obviously, with 4 weeks to go, this niggling calf that's causing problems for years has gone again. And he's done everything right. The background is he's been for massage, he's rested, he's iced it, he's done everything right. But I thought, what a great question this is to sort of highlight to people. What do you do when you've got a plan laid out in front of you? You know you've got this sort of, like in his head, he was going, it's the longest run I'll ever have done in training. I was really looking forward to it. So more than anything, it was I'm really looking forward to doing this training run. Can I still have a go at it? So the thing I was going to say with this is my advice is going to be, we're going to give it a try with a really short run on Wednesday. He'll have had 4 or 5 days off running by that point. He's had massage, he's had all the coldness of the ice. So hopefully that'll have helped it recovered. But I think we've got to take it day by day. We've got to see how it feels on the Wednesday. We're definitely not going to go with a 3-hour run on Thursday off the back of having an injured calf, but we're going to ease back into it over the course of the week. And we've just got to take it day by day and see what happens and how it feels, because it might be one of those niggles that it pops up and it goes away as quickly as it's come. We have to treat it on feel. So regardless of that, we're not going to do the long run this week, but we might be able to still get a really long run in next week, because it might be that this calf is completely healed up and we're ready to go again. The advice I am going to give when you're coming back from an injury like this is, when you're trying to do balancing the long run against balancing the worry that you've got an injury, the way I'm going to advise you to do this is set up a looped run course that goes past your house, so that if any point you get this niggle coming back again, you've got the ability to stop. So even something as simple as a 20-minute loop means you've never got more than about 10 or 15 minutes worth of walking to get back home, if you feel you're going to be better off having the walk back and pull the pin at any point. Because it's hard to sort of call, isn't it, beforehand, Hells? It's hard to make the call as to what you're going to do and how well it's going to hold up. You've got to have the option to be able to stop if there are any doubts, but you've also got to set out with the aim of getting a long run done. So I think that looped run, when you are getting back into that long run attempt, is the key to making sure that you can get the long run done if you need to, and if the calf's good, but you can also pull the pin and be reactive if it's not.
Yeah, and I just go back to Ironman UK 3 years ago, and I had done minimal running.
Well, this is almost exactly what faced you, wasn't it? Was it 3 weeks before, or maybe even 4 weeks before?
It was longer. It was from the middle of May.
Wow. So it was probably almost 8 weeks then, leading up to race day, where you're managing this calf.
It was Achilles, and but I didn't really run. And I built back up to 45 minutes just before.
And you actually said it was right down to the point where you said, I'm going to make the call when I come out of transition. I'm going to do the swim and the bike. And I don't think either of us really thought it was going to happen.
I think I'd be able to do it.
No.
No. So yeah, Rab, don't panic.
It just goes to show sometimes your body remembers all of that training. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Good. All right, so a quick promo for Team Oxygen Addict. If you're considering getting coaching, we have got an offer on in June. If you take out an annual membership, you can buy 12 months of coaching, and it will be extended to the end of September 2020. So essentially 2 race seasons worth of coaching for the price of 1 annual membership. So you're going to get your training plan, you get support in our Facebook group, you get monthly team video coaching calls, you get access to the team kit, you get all your super amazing teammates in that group as well. If you're considering getting coaching, if you have got a race coming up and you think I need some help in the tune up to this, then you can jump on the coaching now, knowing that you've got time to build all the way through to next year's race season as well. Okay, tell us please, Hells, about our interview of the week this week.
So, Rob, I think you will probably be as happy as I am to be able to introduce this person as an Ironman champion. Nikki Bartlett is our interview of the week. We had Nikki on our first ever podcast. At that point, she had just finished racing in the age group ranks, and she was just turning professional. And my word, yes, we've heard from Nikki quite a bit over the last couple of years, so it's nice to keep you all updated with her progress as well. And so hopefully you are all thrilled for her that she won in Lanzarote, because it just goes to show all of the hard work, all of that consistency, all of the ups and downs. Don't give up, and it will pay off. So here is this week's interview of the week. Ironman Champion, Nikki Bartlett. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. That sounds pretty good to me.
Has it felt like a complete whirlwind the last sort of 24 hours?
Yeah, like completely. Like I feel really spaced out because obviously you don't sleep before the race. Like I was starting to like dream about that the mass swim start on like Wednesday. So I was not sleeping from Wednesday, Thursday, and then obviously you don't sleep the night before the race. And then I kept waking up the night of the race. We came back late because we'd been to the finish line party. Well, just like the last Heroes Hour we always go down to. We came back and I literally was waking up in the night thinking it was a dream and that I was waking up for the race. So I kept waking up and I was like, no, I literally can't move my legs. No, that's fine. Like I've raced. And then I'm like, oh, I'm buzzing. And I'm like, but it's 2 a.m. So I just did that constantly. And I did it constantly on Sunday night after the 2 days after. So I'm literally sleep deprived, but I feel like a bit of a zombie. But yeah, in a very good way.
Can you talk me through the day?
Oh God, what a day it was. They have actually described it as one of the toughest, if not the toughest conditions they faced here in Lanzarote for the Ironman, which just makes it an even more epic day out, I guess.
Was that because it hot and windy then?
Yeah, I mean, the bike wasn't hot. Well, I guess coming back in, the sun started to come out. I was fine on the bike, but the wind was unreal, like relentless. Like, you know, those, if you've been to Lanzarote, you know the really harsh crosswinds. It was mentors and like I had like video cameras on me. I was like, oh my God, I can't fly off into the rock. I look like a right chopper if I don't handle this bike very well. So I was like very conscious of like keeping control of the bike. But yeah, it was a really windy day, very, very slow conditions. And then as soon as you came down to Porto de Carmen, the sun was just like beaming. It was roasting. The headwind on the run, because you do a big 20k loop out and back. And once you've kind of done 5k out past all the amazing crowds, you're then pretty much very lonely for the next, I don't know, 10Ks. And it was just like a stonking headwind and you're just like, whoa. And then the sun was just beaming on your head and it was just like a massive sweat fest. But yeah, it was absolutely brutal in the conditions. So yeah, we had everything thrown in there for race day.
At what point during the race did you think, okay, this genuinely could happen today?
I guess the belief started before. Like I've had such a consistent, like I had pretty rubbish after staffs last year. I had an injury and I should have sorted it out sooner than I did, and it meant I had pretty much, I think, 12 weeks off over the off season of doing pretty much just swimming and some total rest with my ankle. And then I had like the most consistent winter I've ever had, and a lot of things in life have changed for us and myself, and I'm a lot happier as a person, and I'm in an amazing setup and team, and just really happy in life in general. And I kind of, I've just been loving everything so far, and you can probably hear the wind now. So I came in with very high aspirations. The field was super tough. And there's only one slot for females, one slot for males. So basically a win and you're in for Kona slot. So everyone was coming with kind of wanting that slot. So and it was a really good classy field of females and males. So it made it such a competitive day. I wouldn't say at any point I thought, this is mine in the bag. Absolutely not a chance. Not even on the last. I had 5Ks to go, and I think had a 4.5-5 minute lead with 5Ks to go. But there's not one point during that I was so focused. Right, I think right until about 10 meters before hitting the red carpet, I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. But yeah, so at absolutely no point, I was just like, I executed my race plan pretty much perfectly. But at no point did I think, I've got this in the bag. No, but I did start the run and I was like, I've got an 8-minute lead. This is now mine to lose, but I still didn't, I was like, right, I need to focus on what I can do here rather than what anyone else is doing behind me. So yeah, absolutely ecstatic. And the crowds were immense, like literally buzzing. So yeah, absolutely. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, it's absolutely speechless.
Was it almost how you was it kind of how you imagined it would be?
What, winning?
Yeah.
Even better. I don't even know how to describe that feeling. It's literally like one of the best, if not the best day of my life. Like, absolutely, you just feel ridiculously alive. Like, you are just, I don't know, like, I was tearful, I was emotional, but at the same time, I was just super buzzing. And I was going down the finish chute and I was like hugging people I knew in the crowds and high-fiving everyone. Someone just shouted, "Quick, get to the finish line!" So I went over, got to the finish line, and then came back out. But yeah, absolutely mental. It's taken a while to get to my first, I guess. I went pro 4 years ago. Since 2016, that would be my 14th podium across 70.3 and Ironman races. And yeah, it just shows that sometimes you have to be very patient, just like this race, because patience on this course is absolutely key. You cannot go off too hard in anything, otherwise it's going to bite your back.
You've just said it there. I mean, you were the first person that we had on the podcast. If anyone remembers back to it was Cup of Tri, and you were the very first person, and you know, when we were recording it, I think you had got your pro license, but the idea would be that you would be racing as a pro sort of later that the next year. That's right. And we've had you on like, you know, regularly since then, and yet you've been on the podiums, but you have not quite yet managed until this weekend that top spot. And I just think it's just amazing to have followed you from the beginning, and finally, like, all that hard work finally came to fruition.
Yeah, it is. It's just a lot of hard work, dedication and commitment, and, you know, nothing really secret about it. It's just a lot of years and a lot of patience and a lot of hard work. Yes, it's really, really difficult to describe how ecstatic I am. It hasn't sunk in, if I'm honest. Like, I've had an overwhelming amount of support and messages, and I try and get back to everyone individually. So I've been going through them, and my phone literally, like, I'll be on it for an hour, and then the battery dies, and then I'll recharge it, and then the battery dies. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, like, it's our last day in Lanzarote, and it's kind of sinking in now, but I think it will really sink in when we go home.
How hard have the kind of really crap times been over the past 4 years?
Oh, I guess everyone will experience those rubbish times, the times where, like, I literally after Ironman Wales in September, it didn't go well. I probably shouldn't have raced. And like, when I look back, I was like, I should have got my injury sorted out properly. Honestly, I couldn't get out of bed for about 5 days. I was crying. The thought I was going to quit the sport. I was like, nah, I can't. Like, it's just too much. Like, keep having setbacks after setbacks. And yeah, it's so funny how, you know, that one moment, if Bex hadn't said some of the words she did, then I could have quite easily, well, not easily quit, but there was definitely thoughts of, like, you know, this is just too much. Like, it affects me too much. Like, I feel like it makes you feel depressed, really low. So that's when you need your team right behind you to pick you up in those crap moments. Because anyone listening to this, I'm sure you pretty much have injury problems or, you know, any health problems, just to kind of keep plugging away because your time will come.
What difference do you think it's made having two focuses this year? Because you've been training with the para triathlon squad as well. You've obviously been racing on the circuit to try to qualify for Tokyo Paralympics. So do you think almost taking all of your eggs out of the Ironman and that Kona basket and putting a few in the Paralympics basket, has that helped as well, do you think? Take almost a bit of pressure off, because you kind of got two amazing goals.
Yeah, like, how awesome are all those goals? Like, it's just amazing. And I got to know Alison before I applied for the guiding process, and and it's funny because she's actually married now to one of our friends who was Bex's very first athlete she coached, and a guy who I started to get into the sport with. So it's kind of gone like 360 back around, and to be able to, and just like when you're in training, when you're suffering, when you're just like, oh, you know, I'm too tired to do a session, or, you know, I'm not going to get these watts, or just like you just man up a bit more and just be like, well, it's not just for me anymore. It's not such a selfish pursuit, I guess. It's for someone else. You're trying to help them achieve their dreams and goals, because this year is all about qualifying Alison for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. We've done one race, and we've got 3 more to go. Which
you won.
The 3. Yeah, we did win. It was absolutely brilliant. Like, again, one of the best days ever, and just seeing Alison very happy, and yeah, we had a great race. But there's a lot more to come, because we've only been we only started properly in December. And the support team with British Triathlon is just absolutely amazing, and the team atmosphere as a whole just motivates you completely. It's an absolutely amazing team to be a part of. And their practitioners and support team is just world class. So you kind of are getting the very best advice and support for your training. So yeah, it's helped me no end, from S&C to nutrition to everything, building on top of what Rob's been doing with me since I kind of went properly professional in 2016.
And it's kind of like the added elements, isn't it? That you won't, it's sort of being a professional long-distance triathlete is pretty lonely. So to have those extra bits, almost for the first time, you've got even more of a team and a support network around you.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And it's just like the kind of access you get on being on world-class program is just phenomenal, and you can see why athletes can be the very best they can be on that kind of support. It allows you to kind of, train full time. If you go back, like say I had a little niggle after a race or session, you can get in straight away and see a physio and kind of get on top of things straight away before they become an issue. So it's absolutely phenomenal. So it allows me then to be a better athlete for Alison, because I can just, I know I've got, the best support team around me. It's absolutely amazing. It's very inspiring to be a part of, and I feel very lucky.
How do you balance both sets of training? Because it's 2 completely different.
I've had a lot of those questions coming in.
Yeah. How do you do it?
I guess people think that you just do it, like, even I guess some people in the Olympic program or whatever, they just presume you just do miles after miles, but our program, my program really isn't like that. I always joke and say I'm a sprint and 70.3 athlete in the week, and then at the weekends I do my Ironman training.
So this is from Rob, you mean? So all the program that you get from
Rob, yeah. Bex does my swims, obviously. Well, Bex and the team who I obviously swim the British para team, and I'll do run sessions and bike sessions with them sometimes, and sometimes I'll like add a bit of a session on top of a session, if that makes sense. So I'll do some speed work, some above 5k, 10k pace, and then carry on doing some more intervals after that. So we've got a great balance at the moment, and we do a lot of speed work in training. I think, a lot of people would be shocked probably. I think age groups just presume you do 30 to 40 hours a week, but I don't personally. I find if I did anything more than 25 to 28, I just couldn't get the quality in the sessions Rob gives me. So, and plus I like to have the recovery time and not feel like you're always out the door. I like chilling with my dog and I think when people ask all the time, like, how are you balancing the two? Well, the speed element brings on my Ironman training brings on my biking and running, to make me a better athlete. So it all combines really well together.
So then what else are you going to be focusing on this season? Or has the win this weekend at Ironman Lanzarote, has that then changed any other plans later on in the season? Because I guess Kona now is like, great, you can sort of focus on a bit of the focus back on the paratri stuff, knowing that great, Kona qualification sorted, that was one of the goals.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I was always doing this as my only race for Kona. I was all in for this one. There was no backup because, to be honest, I didn't want to have a backup because it would have ruined my chances. Well, not my chances, but it would have ruined kind of my preparations of Alison and being able to perform with her, because we go to Florida for our training actually starts as I get back on Wednesday from here. We go into the heat chambers, so we have to have preparation before we go to Florida on a heat camp. So British Triathlon have put a lot of funding into our heat camp in Florida to get ready for Tokyo.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be really hot, isn't it?
Yeah,
really humid.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely roasting. It's pretty much Kona conditions. So again, I'm getting best of everything now. And I do like the heat, but I'm not used to humidity at all. So that prep would be brilliant. So yeah, we go to Florida in June for 2 weeks, and then we go straight from there to Montreal, which is the first World Paris Series race, which is the qualification process. So that's a big race for us. So then I didn't want to do obviously an Ironman in that time because there is no time. And then in July, I don't want to do an Ironman there because in August we have the Tokyo Test event, which is probably Alison's major race of the season. Kind of her funding's based on that race, and again, it's another qualification race, and it's obviously a practice race on what is the Tokyo course for 2020. And before that, we go to Miyazaki for another heat camp to prepare for that. So in July, we're in the heat chambers in Loughborough, kind of as a between the Florida and Miyazaki heat camp. We're kind of ticking over to keep building on the adaptation. And we've just bought a house, so we moved house in July. So there was no way I could fit in an Ironman in either June, July or August. So I was like, wow, it's just Lanzarote then. So all in for this one, which put a little bit of pressure on it. But there's been a bit of external pressure as well to try and get my first win. Everyone's like, come on, Nikki, this is your time. But I think they've been saying that for about a year. And my dad's very, very good at drawing, and he said, and he's also, I think I've got a picture on my Instagram post. Yeah, what Rob calls it the wall of glory.
Yes.
And it's literally an Ironman sign with shelves with all my pro podiums on, and there's going to be a separate shelf for my first, and it's just been a running commentary as a joke, but also a bit of a come on, Nikki, now. There's been a joke of, come on, when's your first? And my dad's been saying it for about 2 years that, when you get it, I'm gonna do a drawing and create a shelf.
And
2 seconds. Hey, sorry?
When you leave?
Tomorrow I leave.
Tomorrow in the morning you buy breakfast?
Yes, after then. Yeah, we can get a photo later, definitely. I'm in dinner later, so I'll see you there.
Oh, you guys, I saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, see you there. Sorry.
Grande desayuno. So he wants his photo with you, that guy.
He wants a selfie. Yeah, I've had quite a few selfies, which is nice. And obviously I do my double thumbs up, and I've got a lot of people to be doing it too, so it's quite great.
I think actually you met some people from my tri club.
I did. We got a photo after the awards. They were like, "Oh, can we have a photo?" I was like, "Of course you can." They were like, "We know Helen and
Rob."
Rob.
Love it. I know. So yeah. So then, has your dad sent you a photo now of the space, which is going to be?
So he's like,
has he designed it out already?
Yeah, but it's a funny one. My parents have actually just sold their house. It's been a house like within the family. 4 members of our family are all moving house this year. So they've just sold their house, so they're moving in 6 weeks. And now my brother's like, "Oh, can you build a wall just before you move?" My dad's like, "I don't think the new people want another Ironman sign on the wall, because obviously that new couple going into that house are not going to want that sign on the wall." So they're saving it for the new house. And then he's like, "Oh, I'll do my drawing now, but I can't decide which one to do." So he's deciding which photo to do at the moment. Nice.
You could actually have a whole room, Nikki, not just a wall.
I don't. Well, yeah. He wants to come and draw one in our new turbo room, and yeah, it's quite tempting to accept his offer there. I think it'll be motivating to have trophies up in your training room for sure.
Definitely. What is the difference in pressure like before lining up on the beach for Ironman Lanzarote and ahead of a race when you're guiding Alison?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've only done one race with Alison, and it was when we went into that race, I was training quite heavily 2 days up to it, and she wasn't really tapering either. It was very much a training race and a practice race, because our first race was going to be in Montreal, the first qualification race, and I was like, oh, you know, do you think we should do a bit of a practice race? Because we obviously do a lot of practice and training and stuff, and that's been going fantastic, but it's different to the stresses of a race environment. And obviously I've never done a sprint before in my life, so that's my first ever sprint race. And obviously ITU is different, you know, rules and kind of everything is just so different from Ironman racing. So it was great to get that race in. I mean, you are nervous, but you're doing it, you know, you want to do your best for someone else as well. And obviously, like when you're trying to go full gas in a sprint and also talk to someone, that's also a very good big challenge. But as everyone says, I don't find it hard to not talk. So and now it's the running commentary of, oh, who are you going to talk to in your Ironman? And I actually now started talking to myself because I was like, oh, I'm getting a bit bored.
Have you? Okay, so what kind of stuff do you talk to yourself in your head?
This is a really funny one. But one of my friends always takes the mick, and he says, you have to tell people that you do this. When I'm really suffering, I just shout my dog's name.
Titch, do you?
Yeah, it's like Titch. And then like the thought process then of Titch just makes me smile and like makes me push harder. Because like, no matter what you do, no matter if your day's great or not, your dog's always there, and they don't care where you've been. And they're just smiling and happy to see you. I mean, like sometimes like you go out the house, lock the door, and you've forgotten something, so you go back in, they're like, oh, you're home! And it's like, I literally been 30 seconds at the house, so like just the thought process of her just makes me smile, so I just shout her name sometimes. Just like,
and do you actually shout it out loud, or are you saying it in your head?
I shout out loud, yeah.
So what, like 20k yesterday, you would go, or what, 30k, you're like, Titch!
It's like, Titch! Woo! God, I actually have a screw loose. Yes. So yeah, that, and I mean, in training you go through some dark places. Like I'm training at the weekend sessions. When I think back to some of the brick sessions we do, I mean, they are so tough. And at points in those sessions, like you go back, it's like, right, I can do this. I've done it in training. Like, and you just, yeah, your thought processes have to be on what you can do, and you know, that, you know, your goals and nutrition and your race strategy, you have to kind of not take it, you cannot think of it as a whole race. Like every time I lead up to an Ironman, I'm like, this is a ridiculous thing that we're doing. Like it's just insane. Like when I was getting off the bike, I was like, I am about to run a marathon. This is just ridiculous. Like just been on the bike for 5 hours 38 minutes in horrific wind on the slowest day apparently in their record books, and obviously then the swim, which you sometimes forget that you've done as well. Yeah. It's just like, this is just insane distance, especially when you talk to people who don't do it. They're just like, they just can't believe it. Like we saw a couple when we were coming back, and it's Portsmouth Common is quite a Brits abroad kind of place, and there's a lot of people here on holiday, and a lot of people didn't even know what was going on, but they were supporting, and they were like, we just thought we were supporting a run race, but we didn't realise you'd been on your bikes and you'd swum. And then she was like, and then they ask you how far you've been. And they're just like, what? But that's like the whole way around the island, around all the hills. I'm like, I know, it is. It's insane.
Even 4 years on. Yep, it's still insane.
I know every Ironman I do in the race, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? And then you just realise why you're doing it in the race, and it's all worth it. And it's all, yeah, it's brilliant.
What's one of the most, what's one of the biggest things that you have learned in the 4 years since turning pro?
Patience, 100% patience. Like, and not to compare yourself to others. Some people have, their progress is a lot greater than yours, and you know, you just got to stay in your kind of little bubble of, you know, your goals and your processes to get to where you want to be. Like, do not compare yourself to anyone else, because it is just, and social media is great, but it's also very terrible at people. I try to give an honest view. Like after Wales, I'll show like a picture of me and taking off in a wheelchair, and I'm happy to say that, you know, I absolutely blew up and I was walking for 20 minutes or whatever to get to the finish line, and yeah, I'm happy to share my ups and downs. Not many other people do, and social media sometimes is all about those great glory moments, and it's not all like that at all. You've got to go to some very dark places before you get to those amazing ones, and those amazing ones are even more appreciated because of the dark moments. And so social media can be a bad one for seeing what is apparently the journey to the top, but it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's patience, 100%.
And have you? I know you don't drink much, or if anything at all, but
I have actually just had a pint.
Have you?
It was less than a pint, because that's why they told me I had to have it. I was like, I've just got back from a recovery ride. I was like, oh, fine, go on then. And then I had an ice cream alongside it.
Oh, so is that the celebration?
Well, like, there's so many people in this complex. Some people have not a clue what is going on. Probably 80% of people haven't got a clue, and then the other 20% are us nutters. And then there's an amazing crowd of people who just come out and support other people. And there's a group we made friends with from Wales, and they're like trying to get me back to do Ironman Wales this year. And I was like, I can't come back for another 2 years, but after that I will. So yeah, they when we saw them come, I came back off the bike today, and they were like, come and have a drink. And I was like, oh, go on then. And they were cheering me on race day, so it was great to get to know them.
That's nice. And then will you? You're not really going to have time to be able to celebrate, are you?
So yeah, we've been celebrating over the past couple of days with family and friends, and there's a group, Passion Fit guys who I went on training camp with, and they're from my hometown in Cheltenham, and there was 7, 8 of them racing, and then obviously all their support team came out, so there's a good 20 of them. And there's loads of other people you meet on the way, and other people racing. Jill Fulham was racing. So yeah, there's a lot of very good Brits racing, and a lot of people had some great performances. So it was great to share everything with everyone. So yeah, and the awards party here was insane. Like it feels like a very family run event. I've been to some races, like bugger it, I'll just say, like Ironman Barcelona 70.3, I thought it was absolutely terrible. Like we went in and they were trying to charge like €30 or something for all our family members to come in, and I know, just to come into the awards, and they were like, yeah, but you get food, and it was leftover food from the buffet when you come through the finish line. I was like, this is terrible. Yeah, so I won't go back to that race, mainly because of that reason. It was just, we couldn't believe it. It was, but this one's like, they welcomed us in. We all had amazing buffet food. The awards ceremony felt unbelievable. They had like a gymnast dance parade before. The music was blaring. It felt amazing. It wasn't like a corporate, let's get some more money off these people kind of event after the race. It was just, and the atmosphere was just, it was just buzzing in there. So we had that last night. We haven't really gone to bed before 12, 1-ish, so we're both pretty sleep deprived. So yeah, I don't even know what your question was. I think I just rambled on about nothing.
It's all right. I was going to say, are you going to give yourself a bit of chance to
that's what
celebrate?
You're saying. Yeah. I mean, so we've got 100%. You always celebrate in the moment. Like, I think some people can be like, right, on to the next one, but I want to do staffs, and not this weekend coming, but next. But I'm gonna relax with it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I've got plenty more amazing races coming up. So yeah, we're just very much staying in the moment. Can't wait to get. We're like, we'll celebrate with Titch, but that just means kind of just giving her a cuddle. Because we haven't seen her for a month, because we went to Pays to Axe 70.3. That was 2 weeks before Ironman Lanzarote, and we dropped Titch off before that. And then obviously we came back from Pays to Axe and had 5 days at home. But obviously wasn't enough time to go and get Titch and see her for a couple of days. And then she stayed on. So we haven't seen her for months, and literally just miss her a lot. So, and I always feel really guilty leaving her. So I always, like, literally, this is one of my thoughts pre-race. I'm like, I have to make this work, because I don't want and get a good result, because I want a reason to go back home, like, we've been away, but it's been all worth it. Because we get her back for 10 days and then we're away again for a month. So I'm like, just have to soak her up. So I'll give her lots of walks, because I'll be on a bit of a recovery process now.
Love it. Nikki, Ironman Champion, I'm
thank you.
absolutely chuffed for you.
That sounds
and
awesome.
It sounds great, doesn't it? And
I never had that said to me.
And I think everyone listening and everyone who has listened since day one will be absolutely over the moon for you. So yeah, enjoy the celebrations and
Thank you.
best of luck for the next coming months, and I'm sure we will catch up again soon.
100%. Thanks so much for having me back on, and just thanks for anyone who sent me a message, because it's been quite overwhelming and it's been quite emotional, and just really appreciate anyone's support and whoever's been a part of this journey. And yeah, I try and get back to everyone individually, because I really do appreciate everyone's support there. So yeah, and congrats to everyone who did the race at the weekend. It was absolutely brutal.
There you go. Consistency, never giving up, and
Brilliant.
having a strong network around you.
It's so ace to hear that, isn't it? It was 5 years ago. I think it was the end of November we published our first show, wasn't it? November of 2014. So 5 years as a pro. I know. Like, on the one hand, that's bonkers in terms of like how quickly the time's gone, isn't it? But I bet it doesn't feel that way to Nikki, grafting for 5 years before she gets that first professional win. So I love the fact that she is stuck doing the hard work. And I tell you what, now she's broken a duck, I bet she gets loads of wins from this point going forward.
Yeah, and I think as well as the fact that this year she is mixing things up and doing the paratriathlon guiding as well, it just gives another focus too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Hels, I've been reading at the moment. I don't know if you'll remember this guy, a guy called Charlie Spedding, who was from up in the northeast. He won a bronze medal in the marathon.
Yes.
At the '84 Olympics in LA. I've just been rereading his autobiography, which is absolutely brilliant. If people haven't read it, it's called From Last to First. And the page I've just read this morning before we recorded it says he decided he was going to win an Olympic medal when he was 16 years old. He was like a typical teenage athlete and decided he was really going to commit to it. I'm going to go to the Olympics and win a medal. And he didn't manage it till he was 32. So he had 16 years worth of, building to the point where he actually managed to do the thing he said he was going to do. And then, he didn't show signs of really being anywhere near good enough until he was 29. So he grafted at it and didn't really break onto the international scene until 3 years before. So again, another awesome story. If you want to check that out, guys, get onto Amazon and buy yourself a copy of From Last to First.
Nice.
Good.
Should we do some news?
Yeah, cool. So news sponsored by our
dash.
friends. Cool. Sponsored by our friends, precisionhydration.com. If you need to get yourself some electrolytes, perhaps you're going away to train and race in a hot climb like Hell's has just been, you need to take care of your electrolytes. Perhaps you're training in the pool and you're getting cramps in the pool, you need to take care of your electrolytes. Perhaps you've been feeling really sick and ill at the end of races and you suspect it might be electrolytes that are the issue because of hypernatremia. Get over to precisionhydration.com. They've got an online sweat test you can take, questions you can answer that'll tell you whether you're a particularly heavy or salty sweater. Their sachets come in different strengths, so depending on the results of your test, you can get sachets that perfectly match how you sweat. So if you've not tried them before, you can get £9.99's worth of free Precision Hydration using the code Oxygenaddict. Get over there and check it out at precisionhydration.com. All right, Hells. Someone who is not known for racing well in the heat is our friend Alistair Brownlee. Perhaps he could do with a bit of precision hydration. Who knows?
Oh, so he's going to be racing Cork, Rob, at the Ironman. He's on the well, he's on the start list, and he is due to be making his Ironman debut at Ironman Cork. But if you watched his post-race interview from Leeds, it just seemed like he was I think he was so disappointed with his result at Leeds and a bit like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not making any rash decisions right now. But he, after the Olympics and Steve Redgrave said, if anyone ever sees me in a boat again, you can, shoot me. I think that was after Atlanta, wasn't it? Because then he still did go on to Sydney. And Brownlee mentioned that in his post-race interview, and he just sort of said, I am not making any rash decisions right now.
Right.
In his interview, I need a few days to sort of think about everything and just work out, what's happening. So yeah, he's due to race, but he did have a very disappointing race at Leeds. If he does race, then also on that start list are some other, it's going to have...
It's a stacked field, isn't it? I was going to say, it is not one of those go on, sorry.
I was going to say Brent McMahon, Marino van Honecker, Marcus Tomsch, Phil Graves on there, Harry Wiltshire.
Yeah, it's good old
names.
Race to
Sam
race against.
Pitzer as well is on there.
I was wondering, if he is like, we don't know his mindset, whether he's just popped his name down on Ironman Cork start list or whether he's been going through it in his head for 6, 8, 10 weeks. I'm going to go and do my first Ironman. But if that is the case, if he's really sort of mentally more into the idea of doing Ironman and moving up to long distance than anybody knows, maybe his body's done that thing at Leeds where it's just gone, you've got this whole other thing coming up, kid. Just focus on the long distance. And he's kind of saving his body back for what he knows is going to be because it's a big day out, isn't it? Even for a Brownlee, to do your first Ironman is as scary for him as it is for anybody. So, I'd be dead interested to see what happens here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
Sure is.
Keep following that.
Okay, so another thing to watch out for here. This Wednesday, the 19th of June, at Twickenham, there is a Women in Sport coaching summit going on. And Susie Richards, one of the Oxygenaddict coaches, is speaking there. She's doing a talk, Hells, called What Happens When You Swap Training for Meditation, which I think is going to be super, super interesting. The little write-up before it says this: in the week before the European 70.3 Triathlon Championships in Ibiza, Susie swapped a training schedule for a meditation immersion weekend in Leeds called The Practices of Freedom and Wellbeing. In the workshop, Susie's joined by Heather Umlar, who facilitated that immersion weekend. So just before her race, Hells, she went and did this meditation week, and she's going to talk about her experiences of focusing entirely on the inner race rather than the external race. I've heard her talk about this privately, and it's absolutely fascinating. So if anyone is around on Wednesday, I think the Women in Sport Summit is going to be super interesting anyway, but Susie's talk, I think, will be very interesting for loads and loads of our listeners.
Yeah, no, I've had words with Susie about it as well. So yeah, it is a really good insight into another angle.
Yeah, and last bit of news, it's a bit old now because it was announced over a week ago, but Kona's going to move to wave starts. They are no longer going to have the traditional mass start going on.
No, I know. There's so many people, so many different arguments in response to that. People are saying, can you not have, completely different races for men and women across 2 days? Other people are like, that is literally never, ever going to happen.
Yeah.
The people of Kona already have to give... some don't even like it having there for 1 day. Some are saying it's not going to make any difference. So yeah, plenty to
it's
read.
An interesting, I don't think very many people are happy about it, are they? Even people who are badly affected by the fact there's a lot of pack riding straight out of transition. No one's happy that the race has been broken up, for sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We could be proven wrong, but I think what we're going to end up with is, with 10 wave starts, there'll be 10 different packs out on the road. And a lot of people from the earlier waves, their races are going to get mixed up by people from later waves riding through. So, yeah, one to watch, but I'm a bit gutted, I've got to say, Hells.
That iconic big swim, you mean?
It is. It is Kona after all, and you can make the argument of it being safer, but if you're at Kona, then you're a good enough swimmer to be at Kona. So start at the back of the pack and find some space there, I think. What are your opinions? Do you think it's a good thing, or?
I think for iconic purposes, it seems a real shame. Obviously, I haven't raced there. I haven't been affected by, or I've never raced, so at the pointy end being affected by age group men or anything. But it takes away the tradition, doesn't it?
It does. And it also takes away from that feeling of there's less and less of these mass start races, which I think is great for World Championships when all the best are in the world there together. It's a bit different at your usual Ironman race where there's lots of people who are like, just please get me through the swim alive. I think if you're at Kona, then you've got to take it. Yeah. All right, and that pretty much brings us to the end of the show for this week. Give us a little trail held for what's coming up next week, because boy, oh boy, have we got an interview lined up for you next week, everybody.
None other than Patrick Lang.
Patrick Langer, Ironman 2-time world champion.
Yeah.
Exciting
Good.
stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, you listen out for that one.
Love it. Yeah, so we'll be back next week with the Patrick Lang interview. Until then, everybody, have a great, safe training and racing week. You've been listening to the Oxygenaddict Triathlon Podcast. I'm Coach Rob Wilby.
I'm Helen Murray.
And we will speak to you all again next week. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Cheers. See ya.